David Duke, top of the arc. Here's Pip, guarded by Gillespie. Steps back, spins, fires! Woo! Pip Gates!
They get another crack. They'll go to their senior. And he lays it in. Two big buckets by Alpha Diallo.
He crushed it. It's a grand slam.
Down by 3. 5 seconds. Reeves for the tie. He got it.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Dish Sports. I'm Ben Bellotti. I'm here with my co-hosts Matt Marasco and Robbie Cannon. We got a great episode for you guys today. Big NFL news. Hit on some MLB stuff, and it's just gonna be a great show, guys. How you doing?
Good. How you been, Ben?
Good. Stuff's opening up more. We're getting out there, and most importantly, in our lives, sports are starting to come back.
It's huge. It makes me so happy on the inside.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, this NBA schedule's out. Celtics, Bucks, July 31st. I'm locked and loaded for that. Baseball before then. Playoff hockey coming up. Helps out the Bees, which I love that. Older team, get the extra time off. They might bring home a cup this year. Who knows? I can't wait. Yeah.
And, I mean, we already have golf back, and I know Robbie was watching NASCAR, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, another great week in NASCAR. I mean, we won't talk about NASCAR for too long here, but now that you brought it up, I have to touch on this weekend's race. Denny Hamlin won again. Now, you guys he won. This is his fourth win of 2020. It's like we're halfway through the year.
Yeah.
This dude, I could be rich if I bet on him every week. He's freaking incredible. But, NASCAR, they're going well. Obviously, they had that big controversy, which they made into a nice gesture movement with the Bubba Wallace situation. So, they actually had some limelight the last couple of weeks, too. Good for them.
Yeah. And so let's jump right into it. The biggest news broke yesterday. I was in the car with my friend, and I was just freaking out. I was like, oh my God, you'd never believe what I just got on my phone. Robbie's grabbing the sweatshirt. I mean, let's just say it. Cam Newton to the Patriots. I mean, come on.
I'll jump in right here. You said you were in the car with your friend. If I was driving the vehicle when I heard that news, no doubt that car crashed into a tree. Like, I would have lost control. I mean, I screamed in my living room, and we were just sitting in there with my mom and dad. My dad's not the biggest Cam Newton fan, but me and my brother, we were so excited. I can't wait to have him. I think he's gonna fit well. Just stay healthy, Cam.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who knows me knows I'm traditionally anti-mobile quarterback just because of the injury threat. But a 1-year deal for a former MVP for league minimum, heavy on the incentives. This could not be any better for the Patriots. I love the signing. It just made too much sense. He's a guy who's trying to revive his career. Where do people go to revive their careers? People go to New England for two reasons. One, to win Super Bowl rings at the end of your career you've never won, i.e. Darrelle Revis leaves the Jets, comes here, wins a ring. Or two, to revive your career, right? Look at Deion Branch, goes out to Seattle, kind of wallows away, nothing over there. He's like, I got to come back. Comes to New England. Cam is motivated. He's fired up. He got screwed over by Carolina, waiting so long to release him, losing his job. He's a former MVP. I mean, yeah, the offense is going to look different in New England, but it made too much sense to not happen. Low risk, incredibly high reward for the Patriots. I mean, we saw their odds move to win a Super Bowl, right? Their odds to win a Super Bowl went up after that, according to Vegas. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great move for sure. And just to add on, I mean, he said today it was only Cleveland and the Patriots. I don't know how true that is, but he said those are the only two teams that reached out, and the Patriots were the only ones that expressed extreme interest, which I just love even more. I mean, it's like, first of all, he was probably dying to go to the Patriots. I mean, basically a job right open. Obviously, we love Stidham, but, I mean, I'm taking Cam over Stidham. And so that's got to be motivation for them, for Cam, to know that they were the only team out there for him. And I know you guys are traditionally not mobile quarterback, but, I'm starting to like him a little bit more. And I like, similar to what Matt was saying, I like it for 1 year. Maybe it's more than 1 year. Who knows? But I love the move, and I think it's going to be great to see this side of a Patriots offense. I think it's really going to be great for Belichick to experiment with what he's really wanted to do for a lot of years now, moving to the more mobile side, seeing what other teams do. And one thing I might throw out there, maybe we'll see a lot more trick plays with Jules throwing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's, it opens up the playbook for sure. He just has a set of skills so much bigger than that of Tom Brady. Obviously, Tom is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He was he was the best at what he did, but Cam can do a lot of different things. And I think something that people haven't really talked about enough yet is Josh McDaniels was very successful with a quarterback very similar to Cam Newton, obviously not as skilled, but Tim Tebow out in Denver when McDaniels was the head coach there, he took a Tim Tebow-led offense to the playoffs and won a playoff game with them against Pittsburgh, I believe. I think that this, it looks good for the Patriots on a number of different levels. Can't go wrong here. He gets hurt. He's league minimum. All his money is going to come from incentives, so you don't have to worry about that. You have a viable backup plan in Stidham, and you have a guy who has experience coaching and designing an offense around a mobile quarterback. And it's a no-lose situation for New England, and a no-lose situation for Cam either. This is his best chance to revive his career, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that he's still got a lot left in the tank. Obviously, it's only we're 5 years, 6 years since he was the MVP of the league and supposed to be the best QB for the next 10 years or whatever, and some injuries changed that. But I think he still has that skill. It's still there. And honestly, you saw it in some of the player reaction yesterday. Scrolling through Twitter, it was all these guys from around the league tweeting, knew that was going to happen, and good for him, blah, blah, blah. Like, the respect level that they have for Cam is still so high. And I think that speaks volumes to where he is. And I love his workout videos. I think he's I really do think he's motivated. He's ready to roll.
There's no question he's motivated. And I mean, the dude's in the best shape of his life. He's absolutely jacked. Like,
he is huge.
It's crazy. And like, maybe I think as a quarterback, his size being that big, I think it might make him a little more injury prone, especially since he already is an injury prone guy. That's the main thing I'm worried about, is him being injury prone. And the fact that last time we saw him, he really wasn't at his best. I mean, he only played, 2 games last year, and the season before, he really wasn't that great. But I completely agree. He's only 31, which is in the prime for a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, he was an MVP. He was the best at one time. And like we've been saying over and over again, it's the Patriots where you go to revive your career, and this is the perfect time. He's not too old. 31 is pretty much the perfect age to go revive it and have a great second half of your career. And I completely think that Cam can do that.
Yeah. The one thing that I do have to ask, though, what are our thoughts on the way he types with the letters, with the line? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it, but now that it's in Patriots culture, I think we're gonna grow to love it. I've already seen the LFG in Cam font, and I'm here for that.
I'm in the exact same boat, Ben. Like, if you put that font on like a Pats t-shirt, like, send it to my house. Send it over here. I'll wear it.
When he first put it out there, I'm like, what is this guy doing? But then, you put it all together, it kind of makes sense. He's always like, he's a really stylish guy. He thinks of himself as a trendsetter. He's just trying to create a new language of some sorts. Just let him do his thing and go be Cam Newton, and it would all fall into place. Also, I saw this on Twitter. No one's really talking about it except for this one post I saw. We got Newton Mass. I mean, Cam Newton, come on.
It's a good point. It's a good point about Newton Mass.
Yeah.
One thing you brought up that I kind of want to go back to a little bit is you talked about how, Cam is a very stylish guy, sees himself as a trendsetter, and, you look at the font as an example of that. Are either of you guys concerned that kind of Cam's personality and flamboyance might start to butt heads a little bit with Coach Belichick, who is a no-nonsense guy? And, Cam's never been in, quote, like, since his college. In college is a different story, but since he's been in the NFL, he hasn't had too much trouble off the field, if any. But he is a big personality. Do we think that's going to mesh with Belichick? Is he going to kind of tone it down for the Patriot way, or do we think that that it doesn't really matter?
I think he'll be okay because, like you said, since college, it hasn't been like he doesn't his distracting stuff isn't all that distracting. It's more like a comment here, how he walks into a stadium, whatever. it's nothing like he's no Antonio Brown or a college version of Cam Newton. You know what I mean? He's coming along. He really has come a long way since he got into the league.
Yeah, and he's he's like trying to be that trendsetter, stylish guy, but he's not like pushing on anyone. I think he's just a guy that likes to think of himself as like a big personality, and that's exactly what he is. And I don't think it's going to clash with Belichick because, I mean, the Patriots were clearly confident enough with Stidham, or so they said. So I think if they even thought it was a chance that it would be an issue, they wouldn't take the chance with signing Cam. And so I think that it's not going to be a problem at all. And I mean, we've had the personalities on the team before, not like outrageous, but I mean, Randy Moss was a pretty big personality guy. And obviously Antonio Brown, which didn't work out. But I think if he reeled it back a little bit, it would have worked out. And if he wasn't just a crazy guy. So I don't see a problem with Cam's personality at all. I think it's going to be like a new age for the Patriots. If he can bounce back this year, I can see him staying and the Patriots fans embracing his personality.
So that kind of leads me to my next question. It is a 1-year deal. You mentioned he might stay. Something that I was kind of looking forward to as a Patriots fan was kind of I don't want to say the rebuilding process, but looking at, Stidham. We have a ton of young wide receivers, a ton of young skill position players. I was looking forward to watching Stidham kind of grow with these guys and the offense kind of matures. They spend more and more time together. Do we think that that's going to happen with Cam? Are we a little bit like, does this set the Patriots, say he only stays for a year, does this set the Patriots back a year? What are our thoughts on that? Do we think he's going to sign an extension? And how do you see that, the development that was happening with Stidham and the young receivers? Is that a big deal to lose that, do you think? Or
So I think, well, obviously, if Stidham loses the job and he's sitting on the sideline for another year, obviously that stunts his development as a player. But I love our young wideouts. I love N'Keal Harry. I love Jacoby Myers more than anyone else. I mean, heck, he dropped a big ball last year. I can't remember what game, but like I went to war for him. I was like, that was a bad pass. I hate him writing the numbers. But I love Jacoby Myers. So, and we have so many guys, like you were saying. And we just drafted, 2 tight ends this year who I think actually could be decent. And then we still got James White, Sony Michel. And we'll get back David Andrews, which no one's talking about for our center, which is gigantic. So I think that everybody will keep moving forward. Everyone will keep developing. I guess it would just be Stidham who gets left behind, which would stink. I like him a lot, but got to do what you got to do. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think if Cam has a really good year and he's putting up good numbers and like leading the team to a good season, playoff contention, I don't see why the Patriots wouldn't re-sign him, because I feel like, I mean, a bunch of teams would want him if they don't re-sign him if he has a good year, obviously. But I mean, that's why the 1-year deal is great. If it works out, I feel like he would love the success he had with the Patriots and want to sign again. And if it doesn't, it's a 1-year deal. Just let him walk. But it is interesting that we have Stidham, and they were so confident with Stidham and so vocal about being confident with Stidham. It really makes me wonder what is going to happen after this 1 year, no matter if Cam is productive or not productive. I think if he is productive, it'll be a great learning year for Stidham, and then maybe they'll start to ease Cam out of it. Maybe they'll share some playing time. I really don't know. It's so hard to say, and I don't think sharing playing time is a likely situation. I think kind of like we were talking about before we even started recording, maybe the first couple weeks of training camp is going to be like a battle for the starting job, and it's not necessarily Cam's job to have. And maybe Cam will end up being a backup. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but I see it as a possibility. So I really have no idea what's to come in the next year. I just know this year, in my mind, we're rolling with Cam Newton as the starter, and our odds to win big just went up a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that you'll definitely see a position battle, a battle for the starting job in camp. That's something the Patriots pride themselves on. You never have job security, really. It's always a battle. You have to earn your spot. Just because Cam's a former MVP doesn't mean he's going to come in here and be a starter. And I agree. I think in the short term, this definitely benefits the Patriots. I was just thinking, from a long-term perspective, it is important for receivers and quarterbacks to have that chemistry and, to have Stidham and Harry and Myers kind of grow up together. Mm-hmm. And the league could have helped the Patriots, 2, 3, 4 years down the line. But again, having Cam Newton this year puts you right back into the playoff picture after, consensus was that they weren't a playoff team. So I agree. I think this definitely helps the Patriots. And, if he has success and we're able to re-sign him, great. I just don't know if Belichick would be willing to kind of open up the pocketbook to re-sign him if he does have, an MVP caliber year. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to back up the Brinks truck for him. But, it's going to be interesting to see. And I think, this year, it makes this year a heck of a lot more exciting as a Pats fan.
Yeah, for sure. And just going back to what you said about the development phase with Stidham making relationships with all the receivers and just the whole offense, I think, obviously we would all love to have Tom Brady on the team. But, I mean, Tom Brady, great teammate, but in the preseason and training camp, he was always the guy that really, you heard stories, whether they're completely true or not, you heard stories that he wouldn't let the backup quarterbacks take as many reps and stuff. So I think him out of there would, Stidham's going to have more of a chance to get some reps in the preseason games, and he'll really have a chance to, grow with the receivers there. Maybe not so much in the actual season, but maybe more than a Tom Brady era backup quarterback. He'll get more playing time in the preseason and grow there and get relationships there. That's just the thought I had, though.
For sure.
Here's something interesting, and we don't have to talk about this a lot because I don't see it being likely, but one of the instant things I thought about when I saw the signing, my brain just went crazy, and I was like, what if we spin this? We make Stidham the starting quarterback, and we try and transition Cam to a wide receiver, running back type of role. I mean, completely mobile guy. He's more injury prone there, but I can see it happening in Belichick's mind. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, the dude has great hands.
All right, I'll say it will never happen, but I would thoroughly enjoy to go see Cam Newton play a Taysom Hill role. It would be fun. It will never happen though.
I don't think Cam Newton would want to do it, but I can see Belichick having that in the back of his mind, being like, if this doesn't work out, Cam's going to be a running back. I mean, everyone's seen the videos of Cam with the one-handed catches and stuff. I mean, this dude's hands are unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it would be sick to see, but at the same time, if Lamar Jackson's not going to turn into a running back or a wide receiver, there's no way Cam Newton is willing to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think it would be sick. Could you imagine him just coming out of the backfield, running people over? Would be absolutely electric. He wants the ball in his hands.
I mean, the guy's bigger than he's ever been. His hands are unbelievable. He's insanely fast. I personally, I think it makes more sense than him being a quarterback at this point in his career.
I mean,
for the entertainment value, I'll give you it.
Yeah.
But I also see him being an unbelievable quarterback, so we're going to roll with that one.
Yeah, you guys want to transition to baseball?
Yeah, let's do it.
Baseball
is back. Hopefully. It's still not – I mean, I'm still a little sketchy just because of how rough it was to get here. But as of, July 1st is, 2 days, right?
Yep.
July 1st, players report to – oh, my God, I hate this. They're calling it summer camp. Come on. Players are reporting – I'm going to call it to second spring training. And baseball is going to be back. And it's coming with a lot of changes. So first off, 60-game season. Initial thoughts on 60-game season?
So here's what I have to say about that. Baseball is a sport where there's a lot of chance in baseball. There's a lot of randomness in baseball. And you can have a pitcher dominate a game.
Right.
That kind of will give an inaccurate picture of how good a team actually is, because you have one very, very good pitcher on a very bad team, but they'll win every game that he pitches, right?
Right.
You need the big sample size to really see who the best teams are, and I think with a 60-game season, you're going to have teams just get hot and get in to the playoffs. They probably aren't playoff teams, and you're going to have teams that probably would be fringe playoff teams that don't get in. Yep. At the same time, I've been saying baseball should shorten their season for a long time, make all the games matter. People are going to watch more games if more games matter. So from that respect, I like the 60-game season.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Matt. I've been a proponent for shortening the season. This is probably a little too much. Obviously, this is way exaggerated and wouldn't be anything they considered long term. But it will be hilarious when the Cy Young comes out and it's Cy Young with a record of 7-1 or something.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Yeah. A pitcher could end up having a 1-something ERA or something crazy like that. I mean,
yeah.
But
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
have people chasing Bob Gibson and Pedro Martinez for
Exactly.
ERA records and stuff
Titles.
like that, but because they're only gonna pitch in 20 games at the most, not
Yeah.
even.
Not even that, I don't think.
I was dumb. Yeah, not even close to
I
that.
think every award for this season would have an asterisk next to it just because it is so different. But I mean, the 60-game season definitely opens up a conversation. I mean, if this season goes really well and fans are more engaged than they've ever been, then, I mean, everyone's going to be calling for a shortened season. 60 games, I think, is way too short because, like Matt, you were saying, baseball is such a game of chance and just, like, process of what happens and how things fall. I mean, if it was a 60-game season, the Washington Nationals would have never won the World Series last year. That's for sure, being one of the worst teams in the first half. I can, I'm not for shortening the season, but I can justify if the season goes really well, shortening it maybe to like 120 games or something like that. I don't really know what the number would be, but definitely not 60. But for this season, I'm excited to see what happens because it's going to be more, every game matters to the most. I think we're going to see a lot of different strategy in the game, maybe even like, like the 3-hole guy is going to bunt the guy over because every run absolutely matters, stuff like that. So I'm excited to see that. And honestly, I don't really care how many games they play. I'm just excited baseball's back.
For sure.
So next rule that's happening, I think we're all going to be on the same page with this one. Not exactly sure. For the 2020 season, right now it's only for the season. The universal DH is here. So both American and National League for the first time in history have the same set of rules. Actually, not the first time in history. I'm not saying American League used to have pitchers hitting, but finally, we have the same set of rules. Both leagues have the DH. I'm all for this.
I second that. I'm all for it too.
I think it's good for the game. Part of me and I'm going to get crucified for saying this, I enjoyed somewhat of the strategy as somebody who likes to kind of think about different scenarios. Like when I'm watching a game, I'm always kind of going through that in my head. What do you do here? Yeah. What the next guy's going to do. The strategy that was involved with the pitchers, and I kind of like the gamble too of like, do I pull my starter now? And it made managers work. If you have a DH, the managers really have no role at all. You just run analytics with your relievers. But when you had the pitchers hitting, say a guy's spot comes up in the 6th inning, he's pitching great. Do you yank him?
Right.
Do you try to get him running back out there for one more inning? That was like somewhat exciting stuff, but you have to kind of be a baseball nerd to appreciate it, I think. So again, I think it's good for baseball. It's gonna stick at some point. People love home runs. That's just the way it is. So, it's good. It's overdue. It's definitely overdue.
I think I completely agree with the fact that I enjoyed part of the strategy, and I think that's what all the baseball purists and everyone. That's why they were so against it. And I mean, it is fun to see a pitcher hit if they can't swing it a little bit, but for the most part, it's just they're usually just an automatic out, and you never really expect anything from them. I think in the old age of baseball, it worked out a lot better because they focus a lot more on hitting. But in this age, they're so, drive line and has come in and made them so focused on pitching and just so analytically on the pitching side that they really have no time to practice hitting. I mean, I've heard interviews with pitchers in the American League saying when they go to interleague play, the manager's like, we can't risk getting hurt. Take literally 2 swings in the cage or 4 swings in the cage and get out. That's all you're getting. So I think at this stage in baseball's history, it doesn't make sense for pitchers to hit as much as the strategy is really interesting. But I am for the universal DH. It's going to be exciting with more home runs, and it's going to create more jobs in the National League. I mean, and honestly, once a National League team sees their lineup with a guy like J.D. Martinez slotted in there instead of a guy like Bartolo Colon, they're going to be really excited. So,
wait, Ben, before you go on to the next rule change, or I guess rule change, whatever you want to call it for the season. What does the 60? So the MLB is doing a 60-game season,
right?
What do our friends of the show and Paul Amaki and Titus, are they playing baseball this year or no? So
that is something I was going to get into with rosters. For them,
my bad. I jumped the gun.
No, it's cool. This is a great segment into. We can just flip flop it a little bit and talk about this first. It's great. So, for guys like them, I think Jake was in his 2nd season, right? And then Jimmy was going into his 2nd season. Jake was going into his 3rd, I believe.
Yes,
that's for guys like that. I don't think that they're going to be involved with this season because minor league baseball is not happening. That's for certain. The only way a guy like them or like just minor league guys in general would be able to play this year is within the roster expansion. So how is that going to work? Right now, going into summer camp, as MLB is calling it, or as I prefer, second spring training, each team gets to set a roster of 60 guys, and this is essentially the new like 40-man roster. But it's a little more confusing than that. But for just to keep it simple, 60-man roster to start in this training camp. When the season starts, it gets whittled down to 30 men. Yes, it gets whittled down to 30 men, and then after the first 2 weeks, it moves to the 28 man, and after 4 weeks of the season, you have a regular 26-man roster. So this 60-man roster, it's going to be half of the MLB squad to start, and the other half is what they're calling a taxi squad. So throughout the year, there's a squad of 30 players, most likely minor league guys, top prospects, or just, veterans within the minor leagues that you can call up and down the entire year. Hence taxi squad, going, like you're riding a taxi back and forth. So if someone has to go on the injured list or the COVID list, you can send them up. If you need an extra pitcher for one day, you can send someone on the taxi squad up, send someone on the other one down. So there's that. And that's the only way guys like Jake or Jimmy would play. But unfortunately for guys like them, I don't think they're going to be involved unless there's a lot of injuries, just because they're so young in the system. If they were in like AA, there'd be a much greater chance. But that being said, so the Athletics first round pick for this season, I believe he was a catcher. He just signed his contract for 3-point-something million, and he's going to be invited to the 60-man roster to start. So he's not even playing in the minors. He's just going to summer camp, which I think is something that a lot of teams may utilize. Maybe not with guys this early in the draft, but a lot of top guys, second round picks from maybe last year, the year before's draft. It's a great way for them to get experience with the big league guys and see a greater level of pitching this early. So that's one plus side to this.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So are guys going to get paid still?
The minor league
no?
guys?
Yeah.
Most clubs, I know before
they're at least doing something to take care of them.
I think so. I know before the season, I think 30 out of the 30 clubs pledged to play their guys until like May or June. I'm assuming they're going to, keep on doing something, but I know for certain the Dodgers guys are getting paid somewhat because David Price pledged to pay, I think, $1,000 to each minor league guy in the system. So a lot of players doing stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen from the actual owners or organizations themselves, but I don't think they're just out there, sitting, doing nothing, not getting paid. And I mean, these guys are grinding. I mean, I've seen Jake and Jimmy's stories. They're working out every day. They're trying to get better and get ready for next year if they're not going to be involved. So, all right, next thing. This is something I don't like at all, but it might be cool for like 1 or 2 games. Extra innings, you start with a runner on second base.
Rule.
Yeah, it's basically like bringing me back to like my 12U AAU days where extra innings was a guy on second base with 1 out. That happened in like a couple tournaments. That's basically what this is, except it's no outs. And I can tell you what's going to happen every single time.
Bunt, sack, fly.
Yeah, that's all it's going to take. It's going to be the top of the inning. So it starts, let's say, 9th inning's over, tie game, 3-3. Top of the 10th starts. Your last batted out goes to second base. Here's what's going to happen. The other team's going to intentionally walk to set up a double play or something like that. It's going to be a bunt over or just try and swing away first, but most likely bunt to start. Now you got 2 guys in scoring position, maybe 1 guy, and then all it's going to take is a sac fly and game's going to be over. So every game is going to end with either a sac fly or a walk-off home run, and that's the only way I see it.
But here's the thing, though. It starts at the top of the 10th the same way, right?
Yeah.
So this isn't going to shorten games at all.
No.
Because now you're going to have a guy on second, bunt, sac fly, inning over. Visiting team scored a run. They're going to start with a Home
I
team
think it's
start the
either-
guy on second, bunt, sack, fly. They score a run. Now it's everybody scored a run, and now
It
we're
has
going
the potential.
again.
It has the potential to end quicker because the guy starts in scoring position. But if the teams play it the way I said it, then yeah, you're right. It's going to be a lot longer because it's just going to be going back and forth, getting a lot of double plays and a lot of pop outs and stuff. So that's when the small ball is really going to have to come into play. They're going to really have to utilize that. Or guys are just going to have to swing for the fences like a lot of guys already do in extra innings.
Yeah, I don't see this shortening the game at all. If anything, it's going to lengthen the game because it gives you a very clearly defined strategy, a very clear objective, right? I need to get this run in because I know they can. So I'm going to make sure I grab my run when I can. And then, right, so I'm a visiting team. I know that they can score a run without recording a hit. The home team can.
Yeah.
So I'm starting with the guy on second base. I know I need to score that run. Absolutely need to. I'm going to surest way to score that run, bunt, sack, fly. Boom, done. I'm the home team now. I'm coming up. I'm chasing one. I need to score this run to keep this game going or I lose. Bunt, sack, fly.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. And
I think what they would need to do is if the away team takes the lead, the next inning the home team doesn't get a runner on second. I think that's how it would have to work.
but does that give too big an advantage to the road team? Does that take away your quote unquote home field?
I think it does. That's why I don't like this rule at all, because no matter which way I see it, it's just not going to work out. I feel like it would have been better if it was a runner on second with one out.
Yeah, because then you have to decide: do I give up the out to get it right? I agree. I 100% agree. You need to make it one out because that way you can't sacrifice there because I agree. It has to be one out.
Yeah.
All right, let me just say, all right, you guys definitely know way more about baseball than me, but you guys are making it sound way too easy to hit a sac fly. Like,
It is.
It is.
no way, no way.
Basically,
And the pitcher knows if there's a guy on third with one out, he wants to hit that sac fly. You're telling me you can't pitch it?
dude, elevate
pitch for
to
your ground
celebrate,
ball.
baby. Elevate to celebrate.
Yeah,
Way.
our high school coach used to yell at us if we didn't hit a sac fly. If there's a guy on third with less than 2 outs and we didn't elevate the ball, he was not happy with us. And the fact that that's expected at a high school level, major league hitters can put the ball in the air at will
Yeah.
with a strike. So they're either going to
It's also-
walks or they're going to hit sac flies.
It's also a lot easier to uppercut a ball than to swing down and through the ball and hit a line drive. It's going to be a lot. I mean, especially with this new age with launch angle and everyone's already springing up on the ball. You basically make contact. It's almost guaranteed to go up.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But-
I mean, once the game hits extra innings, it better be over as soon as possible. When these games keep going on and on and on, I'm falling asleep and asleep and asleep.
Speaking of games going on and on, another rule is suspended games. Now, if there's a rain delay, let's say in the third inning, normally in years past, let's say, you go out 3 innings, the pitcher gets shelled, it's 10-1, but you're only in the third inning. That game does not exist, and you have to start it completely over. Now, with the new rule, if that same situation happens, the game gets suspended and it's picked up at a later date. I like this rule, but some pitchers might not like it.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this one.
It makes sense. There was literally, guys would hit their first major league hit or first major league home run, and then it would just be erased, and there'd be like a little asterisk, and you have to go back and just like, it was so confusing how it worked for stats like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It just is kind of weird though too, because say, I'm the Mets or whatever, and I have my fifth starter going in a game. It's 3-0. Say it's 0-0, rain delay in the third inning. Game gets rescheduled. Now I can run DeGrom out there. And it's like, well, that's not fair.
I don't really know how this is going to work. They might have to put the same pitcher depending if it lines up with the schedule. I don't know. I think that's a good point right there that you bring up. But I feel like that's how it should be. But, that's one of the lesser rule changes that doesn't really mean much.
That's not like that.
That's going to make or break a team for the playoffs now that you said that. There's going to be some obscure situation where some 33-27 team is going to either sneak into the playoffs or not get in because there was a rain delay, and then the team they were playing against was able to run out their A's. Because you can't make them return to the exact same situation, because then that messes everything up, because now your whole rotation gets screwed up because now I can't start this guy on
Well,
Tuesday.
pitchers are probably going to be the only exceptions.
Thursday.
You probably won't have to put the same pitcher out there because
Yeah, and that's what would make the difference would be the pitcher.
right. But
I
that's
like
just
it though.
something-
In general, it's good. It's a weird situation either way, but it's better than just completely erasing the game.
Right. So last thing for rules that really is anything of note, and it's again, with COVID and the whole pandemic and everything, spitting, chewing tobacco, sunflower seeds, all that is banned, which is going to be insanely hard for these guys who are insanely superstitious. And I mean, like, just being a baseball player, like, there was times I'm just walking down the street and I'm like pretending I got like sunflower seeds in my cheek and I'm just spitting on the ground and stuff. So that's going to be a big adjustment. But with that, it's rare. Pitchers are noted for licking their hands and stuff to try and get more grip on the ball, lick, wipe, all that. They can't do that anymore because, obviously touching the mouth. What they are going to do is have a wet rag. The only substance allowed on this rag is water. So they can have a wet rag in their back pocket and use the rag. So what this is going to do is create a lot of illusion, a swamp ass. And it's also, I don't know how they're going to regulate it because I can see a lot of guys trying to sneak in some other substances on this rag.
There's going to be so much Vaseline, pine tar, literally everything, sunscreen.
Yeah.
That's
it's going to be like Clay Buchholz with his, greasy hair, getting a little hair in there. Oh, got sunscreen now. Now I got a tighter curveball. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's basically
Michael Pineda with just a giant swath of pine tar on his neck.
Yeah. But hey, using substances, not PEDs, but like stuff like sunscreen or pine tar. That's part of the game. It's one of the unwritten rules that guys are just okay with it pretty much. So I mean, I don't think that's going to be a huge deal, and they'll probably like expect the rag every inning or something like that. I don't know.
I would just say this is the dumbest rule ever. Like not even like the cheating part, just the fact that like you have to bring a rag out there, like.
Well, it's optional. It's optional,
All right. Well, if you can't spit, so if you want to have a little moisture, you have to bring the rag, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. I hope if Chris Sale's the first guy out there, I hope he comes out with a fat thing of tobacco on his lip and he spits all over his hand and then throws a heater. I hope so. I want that so bad.
Yeah. That would probably lead to a big fine and maybe a suspension. I don't know.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is how that's a tough thing for MLB to enforce.
Yeah.
These players are like I just know me personally. I was super superstitious when I played. I always had gum in my mouth. I always had gum in my mouth, seeds in one pocket, gum in the other. That's just what I did.
You know who the biggest blow this is for? Terry Francona.
Tito is going to be in a world of
noted double bubble. No, tobacco wrapped in double bubble. Get some sunflower seeds in there. Mix it all together. All those things together are banned. They're banned just individually. This guy literally had all three at once, and now, I mean, he's just just sitting there. I mean,
yeah, no, he's going to be in a world of hurt. I mean, I think that a lot of people, maybe Tito included, are just going to be like, depending on what the fine is, they'll just be like, screw it, I'll take the fine.
Maybe they'll allow it in the dugout if they have like a bottle to spit it in or something. I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I hate to bring up the Deflategate, but quarterbacks overinflate and underinflate their footballs every week, and every week they get fined, and every week they pay the fine, and they don't care. Aaron Rodgers talks about it openly. He's like, yes, my footballs are not within the pounds per square inch limit. I don't care. I take a fine and I move on with my day. I think a lot of players are going to take that approach. Same thing with the pitch clock. People don't even know that MLB has a pitch clock and that guys get fined literally every single start they make because they don't follow the pitch clock. They take their time and they say I'll pay the $500. That's a drop in the bucket to me and I'm going to take my time. And I think that they're going to do that with seeds. I'll pay my $500. It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's really all we got for rule changes. And I mean, most of them are for the better. I think there's also expanded playoffs, but I'm not exactly sure how that works yet. But yeah, so what I want to hear, who do you guys think is going to be like the most certain if they don't win the league, like come on team?
Want to go first, Matt? I'll go first. I'm gonna say, the Dodgers. I'm gonna go Dodgers.
Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, the Sox gave him Mookie and David Price. And people forget David Price is now on that team too. I think getting out of Boston is going to be great for Price, and he's going to have a resurgence, kind of like we were talking about Cam Newton having a resurgence with the Patriots. I think it's going to be very similar, except David Price, it's going to be a little bit easier for him because he didn't have a terrible season. He had a good season.
He had 2 good seasons. He was
Yeah.
great. He was great his last 2 years here. Viva Los Doyers, they're the only team that can beat the Yankees. So I am now the biggest Dodgers fan. I used to hate the Dodgers. Now
Yeah, I mean,
I'm all in.
I used to hate the Dodgers too, but I mean, they've got a ton of young guys that are extremely likable. Gavin Lux is going to be one of the greatest players in the game up and coming. They got a great young catcher in Will Smith. Obviously, MVP Cody. Oh no, he didn't win an MVP, but he basically could have won an MVP. Cody Bellinger. I mean, the team's stacked. Mookie Betts. If they don't win the division, I think it's going to be a big disappointment for them, especially since they've been on the cusp of winning a World Series for years now. And
Yeah,
I think
I'll go a step further. I'm going to say if they don't make it to a World Series, it's going to be a big disappointment for them. This team is, on paper, far and away the best team in baseball. Barring injuries, there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the World Series this year.
Yeah. The only argument I have against that is, how we were talking about earlier, the 60-game season. Things got to pan out a lot. And with this, it's not going to, it's very easy for a couple guys to get extremely hot, and that can ride the whole season. It's just as easy for, pitchers or hitters to not be ready at all. I mean, they would normally be, approaching the All-Star break at this time. This month, next upcoming month would be the All-Star break. And now they haven't even started playing yet. Some guys have been taking a different approach than others and haven't even picked up a baseball until the past couple weeks. So there's going to be guys that aren't ready, and that could affect the team tremendously. Maybe those guys won't play, and they'll have young guys play. It's really all going to depend on injuries and just the winning or losing streak that a team gets on. I mean, there's people talking out there that the Marlins have a chance, and the Marlins are terrible.
Wait, hold on. Are you being serious? I got the odds up right here. The Marlins are 750 to 1. Are you saying I should throw a couple bucks on the Marlins?
I'm guessing they're the last ones, right?
Probably.
Yeah, them, the Tigers, and the Orioles all have the same odds at the bottom.
I think the Marlins, out of those 3 teams, have the best chance. Tigers are trash. Orioles, they got a couple young prospects. They could do it. No,
what about the Royals? The Royals are way down there too, but didn't they win the World Series like a couple of years ago? They still got any of those guys?
Yeah, they lost all those guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there's a lot of teams that are middle of the pack that could just surprise everyone and win a title. I don't know if it's going to be an Astros title or not, but I think the Red Sox, if they get hot, maybe. I don't know. I don't really see them. My teams that I think have a really good chance and aren't considering are the Reds and God, why is it escaping me now?
Padres.
The Padres, yeah.
I think the Padres could go on a little run there. You got Fernando Tatis. And,
love me. Fernando Tatis is my favorite player right now for sure. So my team, the Reds, Padres, and my outright that I think is going to shock the world and might even win the whole thing and may be right on my number 2 for winning the whole thing is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, I love the Tampa pick. I absolutely love the Tampa pick.
Yeah, because they've been consistently a 90 win, 80, 90, 100 win team for the past 3 years, somewhere within that range. They're already used to they're the whole pioneers of the opener phase. They know how to use guys, differently and save guys and use guys for extended periods. They're better at managing that than any other team. They have a ton of young prospects, a ton of young players on the roster. I think they're going to be the healthiest, and I think they're going to be the most ready for a season like this where every game matters and players are going to tire. And I think they already know how to just control that. And I think that's going to help them a lot, on top of already being a contending team to begin with.
Yeah, it's a great take. Tampa Bay has the entire history of the franchise has been spent, you could almost say, in preparation for this, right? They've had to be creative their entire existence because they have no money and they have no fans. So it's tough to win baseball games in that situation. And now, all of a sudden, look, there's no fans. So they're going to be used to playing in empty stadiums anyway.
Good point.
But they spent so much time being creative, like you said, Ben, with the opener. I mean, we saw the whole issue last year in the Red Sox game where they tried to do a double switch and it confused everybody who was at the game, and it took up 45 minutes to sort out. I mean, this team is so creative, and they'll be at their front line. Something that a strategy that I've heard floated out there is having 2 starting pitchers go in a game. So you have one guy throw the first 3, another guy throw the next 3, and then you have your bullpen 7, 8, 9.
The Rays are built for that. Their pitching's unbelievable. They have one of the best bullpens in the game, and their starting rotation, all the guys are healthy right now. Charlie Morton, Tyler Glasnow is a highly touted and very good pitcher. Obviously, Blake Snell. I mean, they got a ton of guys that are ready to go. And that's just – I mean, I can totally see them doing that. And even if they don't have to, they still have a good chance.
They might just do it for fun. Who knows?
They might just do it for fun. And not to mention their front office is one of the best front offices in baseball.
That's true.
We stole Chaim Bloom from them just because we wanted them that bad.
Yeah. No, I love that pick. I love the Tampa pick. I think they could be good. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm a huge Atlanta guy. I love that team, young team, very talented team. It's tough. I mean, the East is going to be brutal. If you were in the Central Division right now, I mean, you walk in the park. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
There's literally nobody in the Central. The East, though, you have so many good teams. You have New York. You have Tampa. You have the Phillies. You have the Nationals. The Mets have a sneaky, nasty rotation.
Yeah.
You have Atlanta, young, talented team. I mean, Nats, World Series champions. So the East is going to be an absolute battle, and it's going to be tough.
I think it's going to obviously come down to health and, like I was saying, the streaks and stuff. But I think ultimately the younger teams have a huge advantage just because their bodies can withstand, being thrown into a season basically with very little to no preparation. So, I mean, even the team like a Toronto Blue Jays type, they got a lot of young guys. They're going to be ready to go. They're all energized. They're going to have a much better chance than, like, I guess the Mets. Mets aren't a very young team. They have some young players. I don't know. I don't really know. It's a very veteran-based team right now. But
the Red Sox?
The Red Sox, yeah. But we got, the Red Sox got a lot of young guys too. And let's take this and transition into, probably one of our last segments, just the Red Sox. I think they're in a very interesting position, trading away Mookie Betts and David Price. But this 60-game season probably couldn't have come at a better time for the Red Sox.
Could not have come at a better time.
I think if you're a Red Sox fan, you're rooting for no season or extremely short season, because no season made a greater chance for Mookie Betts coming back, and short season means we'll have to withstand this torture of no pitching at all for very short time. So just to start off, the pitching, obviously everyone knows it's terrible. Chris Sale is going to be out with Tommy John. We don't even really know who the 4th starter is, let alone the 5th starter. Right now, I think the rotation is Eduardo Rodriguez. I like that. Nathan Eovaldi, who really you don't know what you're going to get from him. And then the last guy, the dude we signed, Martin Perez, who really, again, could be decent, could be absolutely terrible.
He's bad at baseball.
Noted bad at baseball at one point in his career. So the pitching is terrible. But what I do like, they still have an unbelievable offense. And what I do like is Bobby Dahlbeck was mentioned or involved on the 60-game player list. And I think a short season really benefits his progress and gives him like a jump start into the major leagues. So I think that's going to work out for him.
Yeah. I mean, Ben, this team isn't going to be good. We traded away our best player and our best healthy pitcher.
Yeah.
So you don't get better when you do that. And now you have to play against 3 semi-realistic World Series contending teams that you didn't have to play against before in Atlanta and
Yankees.
Well, yeah, but we had to play them anyway. But now you add
the National League, right?
Atlanta, the Nationals, and the Phillies, 3 semi-realistic World Series contending teams.
And I mean, you could make a case that the Mets are better than us too.
I think the Mets are better than us. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a tough year. We're going to score a lot of runs, but we're going to give up so many runs. It's going to be like 2017. Yeah, 2017 all over again, where you just have no pitching at all. It's
just going to come down to the bullpen. They have to either stack up or they're just going to be terrible.
Well, we have no starters and we have no bullpen. So
hey, don't sleep on Brandon Workman.
B-Dubs is good, but other than that, like who else is even like Barnes stinks. I don't know.
I like Matty Backpacks.
He's so bad, dude.
He's gonna be good.
Oh god, the whole pitching staff. It's fine. I think there's some good. Bauer's a free agent after this season, right? Stroman's a free agent. We'll go get one of the 2 of those guys, and then
I kind of want Stroman.
I kind of do too. He's not great, but I just love his fire.
Yeah.
I
He's not a hothead like Bauer.
yeah.
Bauer would
I
get
like
destroyed in Boston media culture.
Yeah, he might be one of those guys though because he's yours, you love him. You know,
That's-
kind of like a Marchand
that's
type
true.
guy.
But that's kind of the same way how I feel with Stroman, because like looking on the outside, I mean he does great things for the community and all that, but as a baseball player, I hate to watch him pitch because like he's doing stuff to disrupt our guys and just
That's
like
what I thought you were talking about. That's my bad. Yeah, Bauer's just a lunatic. Bauer's insane.
yeah, Bauer's dude throwing balls over center field wall and stuff.
Yeah, his rules of
Which
dating.
I kind of want to see him throw a ball over the Green Monster, so maybe we should sign him.
That would be kind of sick.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But all right, Sox, are you taking the over or under on wins?
I'm gonna go under. It's just a question of math. You're not in the top half of the teams in the East, so I think you win less than half your games.
Robbie, what you got?
I'm not a downer. I'm gonna take the over. I mean, look, you don't. Life is too short to bet the under. We still got Xander. We still got Devers.
I
We still got
love Xander.
the boys.
I don't think we're gonna contend, but I'm taking the over just for the fact that the offense is that good. I mean, you look down the lineup, Xander's still there. Devers is one of the best offensive players in the league, I think. JD Martinez, just the textbook swing master. He makes everyone on the team a better hitter. Michael Chavis, one of the best power hitters we had last year, actually, if you look at the numbers. Alex Verdugo.
Oh God.
Noted bad guy. Maybe also noted potentially really good baseball player. So there's that.
I remember you talking about him in one of our shows while we were still at school.
Yeah. Matt, Hear me out here. Remember when Jackie Bradley Jr. had a 30-game hit streak? What's a better time to do that than a 60-game season? I mean, come on. This offense is going to be popping.
Oh, Ben, I have no doubts about the offense. This could be, there's going to be so many games that
we could be scoring 20 runs, man.
Benny, there's going to be so many 9-7 games where I sit up and I watch these games and we score 7 runs but the games are going to take forever and then we're just going to lose in the end because we have no pitching. It's like, oh yeah, like we're up 7-0 and then just watch that lead get whittled away, and then lose 9-7 after like a 4-hour baseball game because of all the offense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be how it plays out. So
for sure.
That does not sound fun. That's why you can always watch the Celtics, watch them beat up on the Bucks.
Hell yeah, they're going to beat up on the Bucks. Did you see Kendrick Perkins pick them to make it out of the East?
Of course he did. Dude,
Love
he's
that.
Celtics for life.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so obvious. It's so good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Any final, things you want to bring up or any breaking news possibly? I doubt it, but maybe. Nope.
I mean, although, yeah, last night I didn't expect that breaking news either, and then Cam Newton popped up in my phone.
Exactly.
Sports are back.
Sports are back. Great take.
I love it.
Last thing, if the Red Sox happen to win the World Series, are we putting an asterisk next to it, or is it counting?
Oh, it counts.
Yeah.
For the Red Sox, it counts.
Yeah.
Everybody else is an asterisk. Red Sox, it counts.
Agreed.
Same with the Celtics and the Bruins.
Oh, the Bees. I love it. Old team.
Yeah. I think no matter who wins the NHL one, I think you can count it because they really have to fight for it because it's basically starting from scratch.
Wait, are they doing the full season or no?
No, it's just like a tournament, right, Matt?
Oh, that's kind of badass.
So, yeah, the NHL is kind of sick. They're going to have these things called hub cities where all the games take place in, like, several select cities. I think they're going to do kind of what the NBA does with a couple regular season games. Or are they just jumping right into an extended playoffs? I'm not sure.
I don't think it's definite yet.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know that the Bruins are nasty and they're old, so not having to play a full season helps them for sure. So.
And they already played most of the season.
Yeah, and we were the best team in hockey, so let's get hockey going again. Nothing is better than
give me a parade that I can go to.
I think our final takeaways is sports are back, and more specifically, Boston sports. Maybe not the Red Sox, but Boston sports are most definitely back.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, we're back trending on the up, and we'll be at a parade within the calendar year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's the Bruins, the Pats, or the Celtics, and heck, the Red Sox with a short season, they got a chance. Do I think really? No, but maybe they do. So, final thought, final statement, we're going to be at a parade soon. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Behind the Dish Sports. I'm Ben Bellotti. You've been listening with Matt Rasco and Robbie Cannon as well. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.